Crossfire Legion, the freshly released RTS game, has got to be one of the highest quality releases I've seen in a while. Sure, there are balance issues, but that's rather simple to fix given some time. So, since this game has everything, campaign, co-op, competitive, and modding, and perhaps most importantly, a giant franchise backing the brand, why is it not an instant hit? How can such a good game fail so hard that it only has double-digit concurrent players? As channel regulars might be aware, I've been working in the game industry as a game designer for 8 years at the time of recording, starting with Age of Mythology, followed by Halo Wars 2, and Total War Warhammer 2 and 3, and now Project Minerva at Grimlore Games, an upcoming ARPG game. Other than my first-hand insight into strategy games, I also have experienced plenty of launches as a player too, as I like to stay on top of what is going on in this genre. It may not be shocking that the super flat player curve of Crossfire Legion is in fact the fate of most recent RTS games, such as Empires Apart, Bannerman, War Party, and The Year of Rain. With so few players, none of these were able to sustain their business and needed to move on to the next project. But the creators of Crossfire Legion, Blackbird Interactive, have had more success in the past with Homeworld, Deserts of Karak. There's clearly a huge release spike here, with a sudden fall off. This is the trend that games with a single player focus have. Though Deserts of Karak had some solid multiplayer, having region-locked player bases definitely didn't help keep things going there. Let's say the release spike and rapid fall-off is acceptable as a business. You sell quite a bunch of copies, abandon the game after some patches, and rely on the long tail of sales to make back the revenue. But even this is not the case for Crossfire Legion. My current hypothesis on this topic is that the quality of your game simply doesn't matter. Your RTS game success will be almost completely reliant on marketing. The number of people reached is king. If people simply don't know about the game, they aren't going to even consider buying it. I have no other explanation at this moment, especially for a large brand like Crossfire. The FPS game has reportedly 1 billion total users. Billion! That's a number no game dev would ever dream of. So let's take a look at how the game has been marketed thus far. Around a year ago, the game was revealed, with the trailer getting a whopping 1.8 million views to date. That's an amazing start actually. Bear in mind, nothing matters more than momentum. You may get this one hit, but you can't let up, as people will simply forget and move on if you don't keep reminding them about your product. There is a Crossfire Legion website as well, but it is a simple product page, and honestly not a very good one at that. What am I looking at? What is Crossfire Legion? The watch trailer button takes me to a patch update trailer. Oof. StarCraft 2's product page is cackling somewhere, I'm sure. Especially that trailer they have right here answers all the questions a newbie might have. Anyway, a product page, that is it. No website-based community is attached, meaning the publisher can't use this to build their reach. To be clear, forums are no longer that important when it comes to community management, but they do allow you to have first-party access to your community, meaning that you can mass email the folks that are on your website. You can incentivize registration and participation by offering in-game perks to those that do. Something small, like a unit skin or profile picture. A good example of this ecosystem is Total War, where entire mini DLCs have been given away to those with the CA account. You know what else is possible with a system like this? Cross-promotion. That's right, why not cross-promote with Crossfire, the biggest FPS game in the world? I have actually looked into whether anything is going on there, but no. You can see for yourself on their roadmap page. Back to the YouTube channel of the publisher, Prime Matter. Note, these guys are not the publisher of Crossfire, the main FPS game. That would be Smilegate. This is besides the point though, so long as things are done well. I think it is important to have a publisher account on all social media, but it's even more important to have accounts for the game, which is partially the case for Crossfire Legion. Just not on YouTube, which then means that if one is interested in this game, they would not feel an urge to subscribe and ring the bell on the publisher channel, as there is too much other stuff that is not of interest. There's plenty of game update videos here to serve as a start of a game channel, and it could be padded out with several ideas, community playdates, tournaments hosted by the publisher, and more. As time went on, the early access launch trailer still got some pretty good views, 606,000 in total. That's nice. Jumping ahead though to the launch trailers, we are only talking about a few thousand views. This is about what you would expect from a channel this size, 3K subs. This might as well have been my channel, completely insufficient for a launch announcement. Has the publisher forgotten to use Google Ads? I have seen it pop up once, but that was it. From what I have heard from others, such as viewers of the various sponsored streamers, they have not seen ads either. Is the promotion perhaps criminally under-budgeted? While the organic creation and sharing of updates and articles is clearly being done quite well, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are nicely populated with posts, and so is the Steam page. My mind does race back to the promotion of the launch trailer. When we launched Total War Warhammer 3 at Creative Assembly, the ads were everywhere. Whatever website I was browsing, whatever video I was watching, I kept getting picked up as part of the target audience by Google Ads. I can't help but think that if someone had an experience like me, they'd have no choice but to learn off the game. Granted, this isn't cheap for the publisher, but I feel there is no choice when your game isn't well known. This may sound contradictory, given the franchise's size, but you have to remember that the majority of Crossfire players aren't in English-speaking countries. Earlier, I mentioned that there were sponsored content creators, mostly StarCraft personalities like Loco, Artosis, Rotterdam, Pig, and Wardy. This is what to me appears to be the largest current ongoing attempt to get the game's name out there. In my experience though, conversions from this kind of marketing are fairly minimal. The first thing people will look at is the concurrent player count, which as we know is abysmal. No StarCraft player will jump ship to a simpler game that doesn't have players. I believe it's not the streamer that brings the players, but the players that bring the streamers. There's a reason that none of them have continued coverage for even a few minutes outside of the sponsored time. Simply put, if they are going to have fewer viewers than they would doing other stuff, they will do other stuff. It's how they make their living. Lastly, after searching around, I have found the game was not reviewed by major outlets such as IGN, PC Gamer, and others. Even something small like having a trailer reposted by them can have a huge impact and make your game show up in more places that people will organically browse. To sum up, I would advise the dev team to halt all efforts when it comes to making new content. No one will see any of it until they manage to sell the game. Instead, fix known bugs, add quality of life features that people have been requesting, and focus all efforts on marketing. That would mean heavy advertising of existing material, getting the game reviewed, doing further free weekends, and if necessary, even making the game free to claim forever on occasion, alongside marketing hits. Create a dedicated YouTube channel for the game and fill it up with regular content, starting with trailers and vlogs. Money doesn't seem to be a problem with this franchise, so why not host some sizable esports league as well? It doesn't even have to be huge, just enough to make it worth people's time. These can also go on the YouTube channel. Make sure to heavily advertise the game on YouTube, Google, and Facebook. None of this is a one-off, fire and forget kind of deal. Keeping up activity and getting momentum going is the most important thing. When momentum is found, that would justify further increasing efforts as opposed to sitting back and relaxing. In the meantime, I will continue having mixed feelings about myself actively recommending the game. We are looking at a franchise with a disgusting amount of money behind it, much of which was earned with nasty microtransaction practices that are the norm in Korea and China. I wouldn't suggest we feel sorry for the little publisher in the West not being given the resources to properly execute this launch. I believe this is simply a matter of Sugar Daddy Smilegate needing to open up their wallet. Will we be forever stuck in a loop now, where there's no player acquisition because there's no players, and no players because there's no player acquisition? Only time will tell. Last time I said I'll see if I can cast some matches of Crossfire Legion. This will sadly have to wait a bit, as the replay mode is not in a great place right now, but I was told fixes are coming soon. So, if you'd like to see more, hit the 3 important buttons, you know the drill. I'll see you in the next video.